If you're a federal worker worried about losing your job, you just got some good news from a judge in Washington. I'm a former federal lawyer who early retired, and I'm going to talk about this case for you. So, if you're a federal worker, you probably know that if you are unjustly fired, you can appeal your firing to the Merit Systems Protection Board, an independent federal agency that is supposed to be non-political, and the head of that agency can only be removed for cause. However, President Musk and Agent Orange have never let the law stand in their way when trying to fire someone. So the so-called Department of Government Efficiency, don't pronounce it Doge, it's not Doge, it's a G sound, so it's either doggy or douche. Douche because it's named after Elon Musk. So the Department of Government Efficiency and President Musk tried to fire the head of the Merit Systems Protection Board, which would have made it harder for you to appeal your unlawful firing when they replace her with a political lackey. However, a judge in the District of Columbia just ruled that she was unlawfully fired and she gets to keep her job. So Judge Rudolph Contreras ruled that she can stay on her job for the rest of her term, which expires in 2028, even though President Musk and Agent Orange tried to fire her for no reason in February, and under law, she can only be fired for cause. So we know Donald Trump doesn't like Hispanics, so this should give him something to stew on tonight. So the judge wrote a 35-page ruling, and he said the president thus lacks the power to remove her from office at will because he did not. The president thus lacks the power to remove Harris from office at will because the president did not indicate that he sought to remove Harris for inefficiency, neglect of duty, malfeasance in office, and his attempt to terminate her was unlawful, exceeding the scope of his authority. So that sounds like good news. Unfortunately, he just gave them a roadmap to fire her because now they will make up some excuse that will cite inefficiency, neglect of duty, or malfeasance and fire her, just like many federal employees have been fired for performance reasons, even though they had great performance for all their careers. It's a way to circumvent the system. It's against the law. But as I said, Elon Musk doesn't care about the law. He runs around on stage swinging a chainsaw, high on ketamine. But this is temporarily good news. So the administrator was appointed by Joe Biden, and that's why they're trying to remove her. They're trying to remove everything Biden, and they're trying to replace her with people like Marco Rubio or these other lackeys that will do anything that the White House tells them to do. And if you doubt that, look at what happened with J.D. Vance. So the racist statements of one of the members of Doggy came out, and he had said horrible things about Indians. And what did Trump do? He brought out J.D. Vance, who is married to an Indian woman and has Indian American kids, and said, what he said about Indians doesn't bother you, does it? And rather than being a man and punching that guy in the mouth, he just sat there with a big shit-eating grin and said, no, that doesn't bother me. So all the horrible things that he said about Indians apply to J.D. Vance's wife and to J.D. Vance's kids, and he didn't have the balls, he didn't have the backbone to stand up to that. So that's the kind of people you're dealing with, people who are spineless, opportunists, and will do anything to get ahead. And the people that are supposed to stand in their way are career civil servants, like the head of MSPB, and that's why they were trying to fire her. So she's got her job back for now, but they will appeal this to the D.C. Circuit Court. They will appeal it to the D.C. U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals, and then after that it goes to the Supreme Court. So for those of you who aren't lawyers, you probably see sometimes before something gets to the Supreme Court, it came out of the Second Circuit, came out of the Ninth Circuit. So the trial courts are the district courts. So, the Southern District of New York, the Eastern District of Pennsylvania, and those are the trial courts, and they get appealed to the circuit courts, and there are 13 circuit courts. The Second Circuit is in New York, Ninth Circuit is in California, I forget where the rest are, but the DC Circuit is kind of the odd duck. It's sort of the Supreme Court of Washington, D.C., and it is also one of the 13 circuit courts. So 13 circuit courts because of the 13 original colonies. This one is for D.C., and it will get appealed here, and hopefully this ruling will be upheld, and I'm sure this will go all the way to the Supreme Court. But in the meantime, those of you who are getting fired unlawfully and the government is claiming that it is performance related, even though you had stellar performance. This is a great news for you because the person who was not political, who was in charge of this agency, the Merit Systems Protection Board, which is where you would appeal your unjust firings, has just been put back in her job. So great news, everyone. Like and subscribe to the channel, and if you want to support the channel, there's a Buy Me a Coffee link. And if you have any comments on this, or if you have any suggestions for future episodes or future videos, if you have any suggestions for future videos, just leave them below. What do you think about this? Is this good news? Bad news? Just prolonging the inevitable? Let me know.